You know that moment. They go quiet after a hard conversation. Not cold exactly, but harder to reach than they were 10 minutes ago. Like someone pulled a curtain across the room, and you're suddenly sitting with the same person in a completely different atmosphere. You feel it in your chest first. That small drop, that familiar panic. You replay everything you said while they stare at the floor, rub their hands together and say, "I just need a minute." And your mind goes there fast. Why do they always shut down? Did I ask for too much again? If they loved me, wouldn't this be easier? Why does closeness make them disappear? Am I the problem? But here's the truth most people miss. When an avoidant person starts doing certain things, they are not pulling away from you because they feel less. They're often struggling because they feel more. You're not failing at love. This is not proof you chose the wrong person. And honestly, every couple that has ever loved each other deeply has stood in some version of this exact moment. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the difference between avoidant distance that protects disconnection and avoidant behavior that actually signals attachment, vulnerability, and real love, so you can stop misreading the signs and start seeing what's happening beneath the surface. Let's get into it. The mindset reframe. Most couples believe love should make closeness feel natural, obvious, and easy. But the real truth is this. For someone with avoidant attachment, love often does the opposite at first. It doesn't just create warmth, it creates exposure. It brings up longing, dependency, fear of losing themselves, fear of needing too much, fear of being trapped, fear of disappointing you, all at the same time. That's why this gets so confusing. What looks like withdrawal is not always indifference. Sometimes it's a nervous system going into protection mode because the bond has started to matter too much. Your partner's nervous system is reading closeness before their mind can explain it. So while you're thinking, why are they becoming distant? Something in them may be reacting to a much deeper question. What do I do with the fact that this person can actually hurt me now? And here's what nobody explains.
When safety leaves a relationship, love doesn't always disappear.
Sometimes it goes underground. What looks like stonewalling is often overwhelm. What looks like mixed signals is often internal conflict. What looks like "I don't care" can be someone trying and failing to manage how much they care without losing control. Not more texting, not more pressure, not forcing vulnerability on command, but learning to recognize when an avoidant person is doing the very things they only do when the connection is becoming real. Because if you miss those signs, you'll keep interpreting love as rejection. And bro, that's how good relationships drift into painful cycles they never had to enter in the first place. So let's talk about the behaviors that actually mean something. The ones most people misread. The ones that tell you an avoidant isn't just attached. They're falling. 1. They come back after pulling away. Most couples think the only thing that matters is whether someone withdraws. But for an avoidant person, the deeper question is whether they return. Most people in relationships panic at the retreat. They focus on the silence, the pause, the distance, because distance feels personal when you love someone. But the deeper emotional truth is that avoidant partners often regulate alone before they can reconnect honestly. Their nervous system gets flooded like a smoke detector that can't tell the difference between emotional intensity and actual danger, so it sounds the alarm either way. And here's what changes everything. If they don't just vanish, but come back on their own and reopen the connection, That matters. A lot. The disconnecting version sounds like this. You say, "Can we talk about what happened?" They disappear for 2 days, come back pretending nothing happened, and act irritated that you even care. The connecting version sounds like this. They say, "I got overwhelmed earlier. I'm not trying to shut you out. I just needed a second to settle down. But I want to talk now." That sentence is bigger than it looks. Because beneath the surface, what their system is saying is, "I didn't know how to stay in it perfectly, but I don't want to lose you either." And when you see that clearly, the space between you stops feeling like abandonment and starts feeling like imperfect repair. 2. They start letting you see them unprepared. Here's the part no one talks about. Avoidant people do not fall in love by becoming smooth. They fall in love by becoming visible. Most couples think intimacy is built through big declarations, trips, labels, late-night confessions. But the real truth is that intimacy for avoidant partners is often built through small moments where they stop managing your perception of them and let you see them unfinished. That is terrifying for them. Because most avoidant patterns were built around self-containment. I'll handle it myself. I won't burden anyone. I won't need too much. I won't let you see me weak. So when they start showing you their stress, their insecurity, their family stuff, their messy apartment, their tired face, their bad mood without disappearing first, that is not casual. That is trust. The disconnecting version sounds like this. You ask, "What's wrong?" They say, "Nothing, I'm fine," while clearly shutting a door internally and leaving you outside. The connecting version sounds like this. You ask, "What's wrong?" And they say, "Honestly, I'm not in a great place today. I don't even fully know how to explain it. I just didn't want to fake being okay with you." That is huge. Because her brain is quietly registering, "He let me see the real thing." Or his system is whispering, "She didn't have to perform strength with me." And that's the shift that turns a relationship from image management into real emotional presence. 3. They include you in decisions they used to make alone. This is where it gets really interesting. Avoidant attachment is not just about distance, it's about self-protection through self-sufficiency. Most couples assume love is proven through affection alone. But for someone withdrawn by habit, one of the clearest signs of love is not more words, it's more inclusion. See, most avoidant people learned early that relying on others felt risky. So independence became identity. Not because they didn't want connection, but because needing people once felt unsafe, disappointing, or costly. That's why when they start factoring you into their plans, their schedule, their decisions, their inner world is already shifting. Not control, not permission-seeking, not losing themselves in you, but choosing interdependence when their default setting has always been, "I'll take care of it alone." The disconnecting version sounds like this.
They accept a job in another city, change plans for the weekend, or make a big financial decision and tell you after the fact, like you were never part of the equation. The connecting version sounds like this. They say, "I'm thinking about this move, and I want to talk it through with you, because what happens to me affects us." That doesn't sound flashy, but emotionally, it's massive. Because beneath the surface, what they feel is, "Your presence now lives inside my choices." And when they start making room for you in that way, The relationship stops feeling like two parallel lives and starts becoming a shared home. 4. They let conflict happen without threatening the bond. And this is the one most couples never figure out. Avoidant people are not most afraid of conflict. They are most afraid of what conflict means. Most people in relationships think a healthy partner stays calm all the time, never shuts down, never gets defensive, never needs space. But the deeper truth is that the real sign of growth is not perfect emotional performance. It's the ability to stay connected to the bond even when the moment is hard. For an avoidant person, conflict often feels like the beginning of engulfment, failure, shame, or escape. Their body hears disagreement and translates it into, "I'm trapped," or "I'm disappointing you," or "I'm about to be controlled." So if they begin learning to stay, respond, and repair instead of emotionally evacuating the entire relationship, that is love maturing. The disconnecting version sounds like this. You say, "That hurt me." They fire back, "Nothing I do is ever enough for you," and then threaten the relationship, shut down for days, or make you regret bringing it up. The connecting version sounds like this. You say, "That hurt me." They take a breath and say, "Part of me wants to shut down right now, but I know you're not attacking me. I want to understand this." That sentence is everything, because it means their nervous system got activated, but they didn't hand the wheel to it completely. Something in her is saying, "Maybe I can stay here and not disappear." And when that happens, the relationship stops feeling like a minefield and starts feeling like a place where repair is possible. 5. They reach for you in small, unscripted moments. Here's the part that gets missed all the time. Avoidant love rarely looks dramatic at first. It looks subtle, repeated, unscripted, real. Most couples are trained to look for obvious romance. Big compliments, constant texting, instant reassurance. But with avoidant partners, one of the clearest signs of deepening attachment is that they start turning toward you in the tiny moments that don't earn applause. They send the random photo. They mention the weird part of their day. They lean against you without thinking. They call just to hear your voice for a second on the way home. They share the meme, the frustration, the small win, the passing thought. That matters because intimacy isn't built in the grand gestures. It's built in the 30-second moments, the small reaches, the unspoken bids. Like little knocks on a locked door that slowly becomes easier to open. The disconnecting version sounds like this. Their life stays sealed off. You only hear from them when logistics are involved or when the relationship is under pressure. The connecting version sounds like this. They text, "This made me think of you," or "I know this is random, but can I tell you something weird that happened today?" Or they just reach for your hand in the car without turning it into a big thing. Most couples overlook that. But those moments are often an avoidant person practicing closeness in ways their body can tolerate. And when you respond with warmth instead of interrogation, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to force them. 6. They start naming what they usually hide. But here's what nobody explains. Avoidant people don't become emotionally available by suddenly becoming expressive. They become emotionally available by starting to name what's happening before it turns into distance. Most couples wait until the disconnect is already in the room. By then, both people are reacting to the reaction. One partner feels abandoned, the other feels pressured. And now you're not dealing with the issue anymore. You're dealing with the cycle. The deeper truth is that emotional naming creates safety because it reduces ambiguity. And ambiguity is brutal in relationships, especially when one person leans anxious and the other leans withdrawn. When an avoidant partner starts telling you, "I'm overwhelmed, I need a minute, I'm feeling pressured, I'm not mad, I'm just flooded," they are handing you a map instead of leaving you alone in the dark. This isn't a communication hack. This is what emotional maturity looks like. Not perfect regulation, not polished language, not therapy speak. Just enough honesty to keep the connection from going underground. The disconnecting version sounds like this. They get short, distant, flat. You ask what's wrong and they say, "Nothing," while the whole room fills with unspoken tension. The connecting version sounds like this. They say, "I can feel myself getting withdrawn. It's not that I don't care. I just need 10 minutes so I don't shut down on you." Do you hear the difference? One leaves you alone with your fear. The other lets you stay connected to reality. And when they start naming what they usually hide, your partner stops feeling like a puzzle to solve and starts feeling like a person you can actually meet. 7. They let your love matter. This is the deepest one. And honestly, this is the one that tells you everything. Most couples think being loved is the easy part. But for avoidant people, receiving love can feel harder than giving it. Because to receive love, you have to soften. You have to let it in. You have to stop treating care like a threat to your freedom or a debt you'll eventually have to repay. That's why an avoidant person being in love often looks like this. They stop deflecting your tenderness. They stop making a joke every time you get sincere. They stop acting untouched when they are clearly moved. They let your support land. And that is vulnerable in a way most people don't understand. Because beneath the surface, being loved can stir old beliefs like, "What if I can't maintain this? What if I disappoint you? What if I need you now?" So when they let themselves visibly relax in your care, they are not becoming weak. They are becoming bonded. The disconnecting version sounds like this. You say, "I'm here for you." They shrug, change the subject, make it sarcastic, or create distance the second the moment gets too tender. The connecting version sounds like this. You say, "I'm here for you." And instead of dodging it, they exhale and say, "I know. I'm not used to that, but I know." That line carries a whole history inside it. It means something in him is saying, "Maybe I don't have to do this alone anymore." Or something in her is softly realizing, "I forgot how safe it can feel to be cared for without being controlled." And that's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like emotional guesswork into one that feels like refuge. So if an avoidant person does these things, don't rush to label every pause as rejection. Look deeper, because love in someone with avoidant patterns often shows up first as effort against instinct. It looks like returning, including, naming, staying, softening, letting themselves be seen when every old pattern says, "Don't." This isn't a checklist. It's an invitation to see love with more emotional precision. And when you internalize that, you stop reacting only to behavior and start understanding the nervous system, the fear, the longing, and the real connection beneath the surface. That changes everything about the kind of partner you become, too. Because these aren't tricks to manage an avoidant. They're signs that two people are learning how to create safety without losing themselves. And that, man, is where real intimacy begins. Real love is not the absence of fear. It's the moment someone with every reason to stay guarded starts putting their heart in your hands anyway.